There has been a few new developments in the Max Verstappen, in the Christian Horner and Red Bull case. Max Verstappen's now involved, so is Jos. But what is going on down at Red Bull? So we already know the situation with Christian Horner and the case that is currently hanging over. Now, it was dismissed about a week ago-ish, and we're still, to this day, I don't really think anybody believes it. Like, obviously, the dismissal didn't mean that Christian Horner was innocent, but now we're heading into dangerous territory. Jos Verstappen has got involved. He's been seen talking to Toto Wolff. He's then made some comments to the media, which I'm going to discuss with you today. It also links in to Max Verstappen, the Austrian side of Red Bull, and how the Thai 51% ownership is currently keeping Christian Horner in his role. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below or in this top corner up here to subscribe to the channel. We're trying to hit 300 subscribers by the end of April, and I know that we can do it. So hit that red button down below or in the top corner, and I'll catch you in the next part of this video. Now, just yesterday, Andrew Benson put out an article talking about Max Verstappen and the FIA president. Now, it's unknown what was said between the two, but what is being publicly released is that the FIA president has asked Max Verstappen on countless occasions over the past Formula One weekend to back Christian Horner publicly. Now, Max Verstappen didn't do this in a personal way. He did it talking about the team's performance and things like that. Now, I can respect Max Verstappen for not wanting to comment in a personal manner, but I also think that we need comments. We need the drivers to talk about this. We need it to become a bigger thing, and it needs to be dealt with correctly. Now, what Andrew Benson has said is that with Max Verstappen being asked, I think it just shows the interlinks that Red Bull has with the FIA. And I think that is something which really, it needs to be investigated because it isn't right. We saw what happened in Abu Dhabi 2021. We saw how they've started the new regulations, the leniency on the cost cap breach, the lack of want to change the regulations because dominance should be appreciated, despite all of that not being true during the Mercedes' era or Ferrari's era. So those are part one of this F1 notebook. Next up, Jos Verstappen has made some comments to the media. He's discussed tension within the Red Bull team and that Christian Horner needs to leave his position. In Jos's opinion, if Christian Horner doesn't leave the team, then Red Bull are going to have big problems on their hands and the team is going to explode from within. Now, he was seen this weekend talking with Max Verstappen. No, he was seen this weekend talking with Toto Wolff, and Toto Wolff was then asked in a press conference if there is talks between himself and Max Verstappen. Now, obviously, everyone wants the best drivers on the grid, and Max Verstappen is one of those. In my opinion, not the best, but he's one of those. We know the situation with Christian Horner, and in Jos's opinion, Horner is playing the victim when he is the problem. What I'm going to do throughout this video is the articles will pop up on screen. So here is the article from Jos Verstappen giving his quotes, and I think it all leads to the end of this Red Bull era. As just previously mentioned, Toto Wolff and Jos Verstappen had discussions in the Bahrain paddock, and when Toto was asked if there's an opportunity for Verstappen to come to Red Bull in 2025, Toto Wolff said anything is possible. Now, we know Toto Wolff has just lost the greatest ever Formula One driver and the best driver on the grid, and now that was all due to Max Verstappen. So now, is he going to get his opportunity to bring Max Verstappen to Mercedes like he wishes he had done back in 2016? Jesus, he's been in Formula One a long time. It might have been before 2016, but you get my drift. So on to now the Austrian side of Red Bull. Now, as we know, Dietrich Mateschitz, the former, obviously not former, he passed away, unfortunately, and that led to a big change within the way the Red Bull racing organisation and Red Bull was ran. Obviously, there's a 51% split Thai ownership and 49% over in Austria. And what is being publicly reported by this article here is that Christian Horner had everything on the table to leave on, I believe it was the 2nd of February, the article stated, and the Red Bull CEO wants him gone. Now, what then further happened was there was a clause in Horner's contract that should there be a situation like this, he was worth an investigation. Obviously, that investigation was ongoing. The Thai ownership, obviously, are the ones who are backing Christian Horner, and they have 51%. So they have final say, and they deem Christian Horner can stay. Now, I think it shows at the weekend. We saw his wife, Jerry, being essentially paraded through the paddock in front of the cameras, all these acts of affection. Now, for me, it's all staged. It's all to try and show a united front, when for me, they quite clearly aren't. She looked very uncomfortable. It looks as if he's dragging her about rather than she wants to be there. And I think this is going to carry on into Jeddah. We also saw the Thai ownership of Red Bull being paraded around the paddock. I think that shows we did not see anyone from the Austrian side. And I think this article here just shows why. Now, this is a massive, massive story. Horner, I think I mentioned previously about him not accepting his termination. I've mentioned it also in past videos. And realistically, he hasn't been found innocent. He hasn't been found guilty. The case was dismissed by Red Bull. So for me, it needs a proper external independent investigation so that Christian Horner can either be found guilty or innocent. Now, personally, I don't think it'll go that far, but I can't see Christian Horner lasting till May. If this keeps going, then I can see him being gone. There is a power struggle at Red Bull right now, and at the end of the day, the end goal is winning races, is winning championships, and if they lose Max Verstappen, the next in line is Sergio Perez and Daniel Ricciardo. Now, that's not preparing yourself for the future. It's also not a very good present. It would make very interesting to watch Formula One, to see Max Verstappen in a different car. But do I think that's going to happen? No. I don't think Max Verstappen is going to move. I don't think he's going to be at a different car. I think right now there's power pressure. I think the Austrian side of Red Bull, I think Jos Verstappen, Helmut Marko are all putting down a marker to say he needs to go, and he needs to go now. And I do think this is a case which is going to keep going and going. But I think we're going to get an end result before May. Obviously, we're only on the 4th of March today, and it is a very, very dangerous game right now. And realistically, I don't really want to see Horner in the paddock. I think a lot of people agree with me. I think a lot also don't. There's a lot of people that are only thinking about the Formula One side of things, when in my opinion, I'm showing the bigger picture. I think it gives off the wrong impression to females working in Formula One and within Red Bull, because if they have got a claim and it's with a person higher up, it just shows they're not really going to get taken seriously. The leaks are pretty damning. If you haven't seen them, they're out there. You can go and find them. And I think it's about time that Red Bull actually did something. I think it's about time that this was case closed, because otherwise it's going to deem into a further problem. Obviously, I mentioned earlier about the FIA's involvement with Christian Horner. And for me, I think we're now starting to see the truth and reality of what happened in 2021, because the way the FIA are dealing with this just shows the interlinks, the relationship between Red Bull and the FIA. When it was Toto Wolff and Susie Wolff with no evidence, no proper source, just an article with no backing saying that there was a conflict of interest, things had been mentioned, blah, 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 which wasn't true. The FIA started an investigation in hours. We're now on 4-5 weeks into this, and the investigation's been going on since November, December of 2023 with Red Bull, and they've not done anything. For me, this is becoming a bigger problem. But do I think the world of F1 is going to do anything about it? Absolutely not. Do I think you're going to have the likes of Toto Wolff, Zach Brown, Fred Vasseur coming together to put forward a statement so that the FIA gets involved? No, because I think at the end of the day, they're all trying to be pally with the FIA. Red Bull are the best at it. We've seen it with how 2021 was handled, with how that report was handled, the cost cap leniency, the way Max Verstappen gets away with so much. And for me, it all needs to change. I believe the Concord Agreement still hasn't been renewed for, I think it ends 2025, or was it 2026, something like that. I made a video on it a few months ago. That's still not been renewed. So that could be in the forefront of some of these team principals and CEOs. But it's going to be very interesting to see what happens over the coming weeks and months, because this is getting out of hand now and it just needs to stop. And it just needs to finish. So that is the end of this video, this installment of the F1 Notebook. I'll be back on Wednesday for a preview of Jeddah. I'm going to have some videos out over the coming days reviewing the Formula 2 race and talking about Kimi Antonelli and Prema, talking about Zane Maloney's absolute dominance over the weekend. He was very, very impressive to watch. And yeah, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and stick around on the channel for more Formula One and football content. Obviously, this Horner situation is still ongoing, so there may be more videos. So I'll catch you in the next one. Make sure to go and find me on TikTok, pictured here, and Twitter, pictured here. These are the places where I'll keep you all up to date with all my upcoming videos and my thoughts and feelings around the Formula One and football weekend.